Did you know that only 55% of players have ever completed the tutorial in Sea of Thieves? A piece of information bestowed upon me thanks to Steam Achievements. When I found out about that, I couldn't help but wonder, what are some of the rarest achievements you can get in Sea of Thieves? I mean, there are 283 to choose from, and some of them are really difficult to get. So what makes somebody a top 1% player? And gamers, the answer to that certainly surprised me. So allow me to take you along the journey of attempting to acquire the 5 rarest Steam Achievements for Sea of Thieves, starting with Hang Out to Dry. Now, one thing you will notice immediately is that a lot of the Steam Achievements are tied to Sea of Thieves' Commendation system, which is basically achievements but built right into the game. Some of those give you pretty cool cosmetics for completing them, so I was excited to find out what great challenge awaited me and what I would get once I finished it. What that entailed, however, you will never be able to guess. I don't actually know where that shipwreck is. I'm assuming it would be positioned in a way where it's like very obviously climbable. So usually you would hang off of like this. Where does one hang off of for said achievement? Oh, I forgot I need to stealth first. Yo, let's go. Your eyes do not deceive you. The Hang Out to Dry commendation requires you to hang off of 5 shipwrecks and 5 very specific locations. With us having completed Discovery Ridge, we headed on over to Thieves Haven to do this all over again, but finding these spots was surprisingly difficult. It took me so long, in fact, that a random brigantine came towards the island, but thankfully I managed to convince them to help me get that comm. You know, in my experience, people are surprisingly cooperative when you just tell them you're trying to get a commendation. The biggest challenge here was a brief section of getting chased down by a galleon as I was climbing an outpost to take off another shipwreck, but ultimately I managed to arrive at my final destination in one piece to finally hear that sweet, sweet sound all of us were waiting for. Ah. We got it! Now what do we get for the whole trouble? Absolutely nothing. No title, no cosmetic. Absolute zilch. No wonder nobody's doing this achievement. It's so rare because, like, you have to do something that is not only a complete waste of time because there's no utility to anything you're doing, you wouldn't even know this exists if you didn't look at the commendation specifically. And you don't even get anything for it. So why would anyone do this ever? An astute observation, completing this achievement apparently makes us a top 0.2% player, but not for the difficulty of the challenge, just more because of how incredibly obscure the things are that you have to do to complete it. This was, however, the easiest achievement of the day, for I've decided to tackle them in order of difficulty. Trust me, the last one is an absolute nightmare. Next up on the list is Enticing Explosion, which fittingly requires us to complete the Enticing Explosion commendation. For that, we have to use a very specific weapon and a very specific kind of ammunition on a very specific enemy type. The lore dart is an ammo type for the blowpipe and either distracts or turns enemy AI against each other. The goal here is to shoot a skeleton holding a keg 25 times with this thing, and to that end, I decided to head on over to a skeleton camp. I mean, you can find keg skeletons basically anywhere in the world, but for this activity, I knew that there was a 100% chance of a set amount of them spawning every single time. So you'd think that I could complete this in one fell swoop, except the skeletons do just randomly explode sometimes, even when nothing and nobody is anywhere near them. I came out of this camp with a score of 18 out of 25, and then simply looked for a random spawn on a nearby island to complete the challenge. Now, unlike the last achievement, this one actually unlocked a brand new cosmetic. When I say unlock the cosmetic, really that just means earning the privilege of spending my own gold on it. Though in this case, the spyglass we unlocked only costs about 5,000 gold, and I gotta say, it does look pretty nifty. And apparently, only 0.2% of players even have access to this item. For the next one, we are going to have to get a little tricky. The Mobile Cannoneer achievement requires the completion of several commendations, and for all of them, we are going to need a Cannon of Rage. This mobile cannon can be found at random on any beach, but has a high chance of spawning within the confines of a sea fortress. And luckily for us, we can take a peek inside without needing to complete it, meaning all we had to do was sail from fort to fort until one finally contained that item. The fort itself is a fairly straightforward ordeal, simply consisting of a few waves of phantoms that need to be defeated, the final of which will include a mini-boss who drops the key to the vault, and just like that, the cannon was ours. Now the question remains, what do we need to do with that cannon? Oh, you know, common things you would do with it, like shooting 5 cursed cannonballs and 20 firebombs and defeating 150 enemies with it. This, my friends, is the crux of the challenge. Obviously, this commendation was designed to be worked on over time, but I want to get it done in a single session. My solution? The Vault of the Ancients voyage. What's special about this quest is that every time you complete one step of it, 3 and exactly 3 skeletons will spawn right where you stand. And since you can simply flip the voyage and start a new one an unlimited amount of times until it points you to the island you're right next to, we can effectively spawn an infinite amount of skeletons to defeat. Obviously, not every reset is going to give us our current island as a destination, meaning this was going to be a lengthy process. Oh yeah, did I mention that if you fire the cannon in quick succession that it eventually explodes? In order to not have that happen, we can make use of the lure dart once again to bait all the skeletons to one position where we can defeat them with a single cannonball. How long did this grind take to complete? Just a little over 2 hours, doubling the time it took for the previous 2. But wait, that's just one of the commendations we need to complete the achievement, and the next one is going to require some help. Because I left a very specific detail out when I explained it earlier, it's not just that we need to shoot 20 firebombs out of it, we need to shoot them at a player-controlled vessel. Now, we did collect a bunch of treasure from defeating all the skeletons, namely 37 of what is called a vestige of power, and my hope was that I could bribe somebody to help us in exchange for that loot. But whether or not that's enough to convince them, only time can tell. Hello? Anyone got a microphone? Hey. Can I have 1 second?
What do you want?
I need help with a commendation. I got some treasure I can pay you with, but I need to do a commendation. I need another boat for that.
Well, what do we have to do? Which commendation?
Ow, I have a cannon of rage.
Skeleton.
Oh, that's fine. I got a cannon of rage. I need to shoot fire bombs 20 times. I got some treasure I can give you guys.
You don't need treasure to give us. So, the right ship is going to drive to Reaper hideout now. You can do on the left ship, I think.
Alright, awesome. Thank you so much, man. I'll be here in a sec. Okay, is the whole I'm just doing a commendation thing some kind of secret code to avoid PvP? Bro didn't even want me to pay him in treasure. Whatever the case may be, I had a storage crate filled with firebombs and a ship to fire them towards. But even though I had a crew be fully cooperative, this did still take a bit of time to finish because of the aforementioned limitation of the cannon of rage. I had to take breaks periodically to cool it down with some water lest it would explode and I'd have to look for a new one. But eventually, burning bombardment was completed, and with it, the final commendation I needed to get the mobile cannoneer achievement. But I already know what you're about to ask. Do we get anything for all that trouble? Heading over to Reaper's hideout, we will find an entire suite of weapon cosmetics ripe for purchase at the low price of 875,000 gold per piece. Now, while that is very expensive, it does come with a flexible knowledge that only 0.1% of SOT players on Steam even have access to these cosmetics, and yeah, I can definitely see why this is a rare achievement. And the same can be said for the next one, for we are going to target Crew of Bone and Blade. Hey, I heard you like multi-commendation achievements, because boy do I have a multi-commendation achievement for you, but it's actually surprisingly straightforward. All you need to do is complete 10 quests, and every region of the map was under the protection of a Bone and Blade skeleton. Those can be dug up at literally every big island in the game, and they are actually surprisingly useful too. For any X marks the spot or riddle quest, you can show the skeleton your map and they will guide you to the place you need to be. Additionally, you can also have them help you carry treasure to your boat, or, you know, carry other things as well, which is also part of the achievement. But generally speaking, this isn't so much of a challenge, more than a time sink, though it was very funny when the Steam achievement popped before I actually completed my commendations. Crew of Bone and Blade? What? Wait, what? Earn the commendation, Crew of Bone and Blade. Yeah, I'm not sure who dinked this up, but ladies and gentlemen, this is technically the rarest achievement in the game at only a 0.1% completion on Steam. But it isn't actually the hardest rare achievement you can get. Also, don't worry, I did complete the commendation anyway, because the Steam achievement alone does not unlock all of these cosmetics. But no, the hardest rare achievement in the game at present is a Defender of a Pirate's Life. At a fitting 0.1 completion rate, this bad boy is going to task you with the acquisition of the Sizzling Sinker and Secretive Stash commendations, and that entails sinking 10 player-controlled burning blades whilst under the flag of Athena's fortune, plus selling 20 blades of souls with 3 or more rituals. Now, if you don't play a lot of Sea of Thieves, none of this is going to mean anything to you, so allow me to break down the layers of difficulty inherent to this achievement. The Burning Blade, that's the biggest ship in the game. It's a world event, absolutely massive, and it can either be sunk or taken over by other players at the cost of their original vessel. Essentially, those players then become the world event on that server. But the next part is the real kicker. What the heck is a Blade of Souls, and what are these rituals? For a Burning Blade to make money, they need to complete skeleton camps, much like the one we used for our previous achievement, and the more of them they complete before turning in the ship, the more money and reputation they will earn. Should they be sunk before they can get the turn in, the sunken vessel is going to spawn a Blade of Souls that holds all the skeleton camps completions within it, essentially giving those who sank the blade the same money that the crew would have gotten if they successfully turned it in. You see the problem, right? We need to find not only a specific world event, but one that is already controlled by other players, and it doesn't just have to be controlled by other players, they also need to have already completed at least 3 camps before we are even allowed to sink them. There is so much RNG in even meeting all these conditions, let alone sniping a crew at the perfect time between them getting their completions, but before they manage to get the turn in. But don't worry, because I have a secret weapon. Fortunately for us, I know a person who has not just sunk 10 or 20 of these, but over 100. Athena's Fortune #1 pirate and captain of the Sinclair Pirates, Toxie Sinclair.
The quest you're embarking on isn't about gold or glory. It's about getting the rarest achievements in Sea of Thieves.
She's right, you know. Gamers, I was in the hands of absolute experts. Toxie and Halo know all the tips and tricks when it comes to both finding and sinking player-controlled burning blades. And whilst it didn't take us too long to find one such specimen, as you can see, it still had 0 rituals complete. In a perhaps counterintuitive twist of events, our job now was to protect the burning blade from other players trying to sink it. After all, we do need them to finish no less than 3 skeleton camp rituals, and they can't really do that while being harassed. But as you can imagine, things don't always go according to plan.
And the blade's gone.
Wait, what?
The blade's gone?
Excuse me? They turned in?
There's no way!
In the one broadside that we had with this galleon? As you can see, there's a lot of moving parts to trying to get this achievement, and whilst killing those that just cost us our blade was very cathartic, it did nothing for me when it came to getting my commendation. Thankfully for us, we found another burning blade after a few rounds of server hopping, and those gamers already had a 2 streak. Being careful not to spook them, we decided to stay just close enough to be able to intercept in case they wanted to turn in, but not so close that they would feel immediately threatened, until they finally got that 3 streak anyway, and gamers threatened they certainly felt. It was just one lonely solo player commanding this massive vessel, and much like me, he also needed it for a commendation, which definitely did not make me feel great. I do feel bad for him, because like, he's me. Like me as a solo, if I didn't have you guys,
yeah,
I would be begging for people to leave me alone so I can get this commendation.
I'm sorry, I will leave immediately.
Okay, I feel bad.
Right?
I'm sorry, take this gift. Take it.
Just kill him. Just kill him.
Oh my god, we can't humanize our prey. Oh my god.
Just do not listen to him.
It's like the siren's call. Oh my god. Needless to say that I was very in 2 minds about this. Eventually, our friend over here realized that we are degenerate content creators, after which he was surprisingly okay with giving up his burning blade. Not that he had much of a choice, but hey, it made me feel a little less bad about it. And with that, I had acquired the sizzling sinker commendation. Great one, that is. Yeah, there's a whole 5 grades to this commendation, eventually leading to the achievement we actually want, meaning there are 9 more sinks to go. Actually, even more than that, because don't forget, we also need 20 Blades of Souls, and this is just the first one.
Did you want to sell the sword at the Athena guy, or do you want to sell it at the...
Honestly, in my mind, I was like, oh, we need to go to Reaper's hideout for that.
Also, you stole the flag to Reaper instead of to Athena.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I was just like... I kind of just ran on like autopilot. I didn't think about it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So this goes to the Athena guy?
Yeah, sell it to the Athena guy.
But you guys already know, I definitely tried to sell it to the Reaper guy. Listen, the commendation forces me to fight under the flag of Athena's Fortune, but I'm still a Reaper emissary at heart. Either way, it was time to get back to server hopping in order to get our next burning blade. Same plan as last time, they were just 1 camp away from grade 3, after which we decided to tussle. Except the first thing we saw was a white flare. Yeah, even though there was a 4-man crew on that blade, they really didn't want to fight us. Toxie and I were taking turns shooting cannons at them whenever one of us died. The other went over to take care of the skeletons. Oh yeah, I should probably be talking strategy at this point. Much like against a Skelly Galleon, you need to damage the lower part of the burning blade for them to take on any water. But since the skeletons repairing the damage are finite, the logical decision is for somebody to get on over there to destroy the skeletons to make sure it can't be repaired. Fortunately, the more players are on a burning blade, the fewer skeletons they get, meaning that primarily focusing on the flashbacks can be a valid approach. Did I stall for enough time? Because Blade of Souls #2 was ours.
Remember to sell the Reaper's flags to Athena this time.
Okay. Spoiler alert, I did not sell the flag to the Athena guy. In fact, I even decided to equip my skeleton curse just as a show of where my true allegiance lies. Drop a like if you think the skeleton curse is more interesting than the phantom curse. Either way, it was back to hunting burning blades, and much to our delight, the very next one was already on a 3 streak by the time we arrived. The only problem, we were not the only ones hunting for that blade. Now, the sinking of the ship itself was really nothing to write home about. Once again, captained by a few swabbies, they were having a really hard time keeping it afloat. The tragic part was that after sinking it, we got hit by a skeleton ship, and that other boat used this opportunity to grab the Blade of Souls. Toxie and Halo were desperately trying to shoot down their mast to stop them from running, with me ready to get on that boat as soon as they hit. Unfortunately, our chain shots did not connect, I was left out to dry, and these rats got away with the blade. While certainly frustrating, it did teach us a valuable lesson. We had to be locked in at all times. The Burning Blade itself is not our only enemy, and the Commendation does not progress until the blade is sold. Except the locking in part was more difficult than anticipated when we were met with a 0-streak Burning Blade that took absolute ages to complete their camps. At one point, I decided to shoot our own vessel with a stationary cannon just to make sure Toxie and Halo were still alert, just for neither of them to react at all. At least, not initially.
What the?
You have no idea how this happened.
Why?
I have no idea how this
What
happened.
did you do?
I didn't do anything. It just plopped over. No reason.
I heard cannonballs.
I was about to say, how did you not hear 3 cannon shots? There was no reaction. No like, hey, let me check on the boat. Let's get back to the boat. Truthfully, things can get very silly when content creators get bored. This is the part of the story you don't typically get to see in the videos, but we spent the time trying to play any variety of pranks on each other. Toxie made an attempt to harpoon gun me towards a blunderbomb trap, she said, just to fail miserably and trigger it herself. We also found a picture of John Sea Dog, inventor of Sea of Thieves PvP, so that's pretty cool. But that Burning Blade was taking way longer than average to get absolutely anything done. We rejoiced when they got to a 2-streak, just to realize that they went past another skeleton camp instead of completing it. Naturally, we went to investigate just to realize these goobers were chasing down a sloop. They got bored of doing the PvE 2 camps into their grind, and honestly, who could blame them? Good luck trying to catch a brigantine on that semi-truck of a ship, though. At the end, they did complete their 3rd camp eventually. We did sink their battleship, and we did sell the Blade of Souls, but gamers, to get just a handful of completions you saw in this video took over 6 hours of server hopping for one single achievement to still not be anywhere near completion. So needless to say that this is one that I'm not gonna get anytime soon. But if you would like to see a part 2 of this video where I finish the grind and explore an even greater variety of rare and challenging achievements, do make sure to sound off in the comment section below. Speaking of things that are challenging, if you want to watch me suffer some more, feel free to check out my last episode where I went from 0 to 1 million gold on a brand new character exclusively by PvPing. You can find the card on screen right now. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys have a day filled with achievements on the sea. And until next time, peace.